Okay, so Joe Flacco proved a lot of people wrong by becoming a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Super Bowl MVP, and he was deservedly so the MVP. Maybe Jacoby Jones possibly could have got some votes because stole some from him, but look at the body work in the playoffs, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, as good as any quarterback has ever played in the playoffs, right up there with Joe Montana. But now you get people talking just because he's the most recent winner of the Super Bowl at the quarterback position, and he put a lot of that on his back. He was the best player for the Ravens during the playoffs. But is he one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, like some people are saying? There's no way. It's not even close. Don't tell me you would rather have Joe Flacco than Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, RG3, Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick. 8 guys I just named you'd rather have than this guy. Now I put him in the same class as Eli, Big Ben, Tony Romo, Phillip Rivers, Matt Schaub, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, maybe Matt Stafford, Jay Cutler, Andy Dalton, Josh Freeman, Sam Bradford. He's maybe a little bit better than some of those guys, but if things fall into place for any of those guys' teams, they're capable of winning the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl next year with Josh Freeman playing quarterback. And he's not considered one of the best, but he may be if he wins the Super Bowl. That's kind of where we are with Joe Flacco. Last year, we were saying Eli Manning, absolutely, top 5 quarterback just because he won his 2nd Super Bowl. This year, no one's saying that. Big Ben, I think it was he won his 2nd Super Bowl a couple years back, and everyone was saying he is a top 5 quarterback. No, I don't think so. Now, if you want to say that, you know, he beat Brady and Manning and, you know, great Super Bowl run, I'm not saying it wasn't. In 2010, Mark Sanchez beat both Manning and Brady on the road on the way to the Super Bowl, almost beat Roethlisberger. It was a close game, and he played pretty well in that. So what I'm saying is there's just so much more to it. And I don't think he belongs in that upper echelon like a lot of people are saying.
Fair, because this guy has been consistent throughout his playing in Baltimore. So you don't want to pay this guy.
Is he elite?
Because
is he top 5?
He's consistent. Those are
he's totally inconsistent. Wait. Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
He's wildly.
Oh, so you mean to tell me?
Wait. Hold on. Let's go back last year. Go look at the game at Tennessee. Go look at the game at Jacksonville. Go look at the Jets game on Sunday Night Football. Go look at the numbers from that game and tell me how consistent.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Is Joe Flacco better than Matt Flynn?
What's the debate? What's the debate?
I haven't.
You're saying there are 16 better quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Name
want to play the game? Want to play the game?
Yeah, hang on. Let me get my notes out.
3 in the NFC East, right? Manning.
I'm dating this. Okay.
Manning, Griffin, Romo. 3 in the NFC South. Cam Newton, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan. So he's already 7th, and we've gone through 2 divisions. And by the way, Josh Freeman.
No.
Okay. All right. Fine. Not Josh Freeman, but I'm just saying. So
I wouldn't even say Cam Newton right now.
Go to the NFC North. Joe Webb is better.
Oh.
In the NFC North.
Not even funny.
3 are better in the NFC North.
Who?
Jay Cutler, Matthew Stafford.
I wouldn't say Cutler.
And I think Aaron Rodgers is a little better.
Aaron Rodgers maybe. Matthew Stafford questionable. He's a very dumb quarterback.
Matthew Stafford is
he's a very dumb quarterback.
Matthew Stafford is the dumbest quarterback in the NFL.
He makes more. Exactly. So he puts his team in a better position to lose than Joe Flacco does.
Matthew Stafford. Everybody take Matthew Stafford.
All right. Who else?
You think the Ravens wouldn't make that trade?
Who else?
Okay, so he's 10th right now.
Go ahead. Okay.
And we haven't even gotten to the NFC West. NFC West. Who we got? I'll take Sam Bradford over Joe Flacco.
I don't know.
I will take.
I don't know if I'd take Sam.
I mean, I'd take Colin Kaepernick over Joe Flacco. And then I'd take Alex Smith over Joe Flacco.
Well, you got to pick one. They're not both starting.
I get Kaepernick / Smith. And then who else is in that division? I'd take the Cardinals guy.
Ryan Lindley?
Ryan, what's his last name?
Lindley.
Ryan Lindley.
Brian Hoyer?
Brian Hoyer. Right.
Brian Hoyer.
Brian, I think Brian Hoyer. Okay, all right. No, we're not taking Brian Hoyer. And then who's the other team in that division? Why can't we remember? Oh, the Seahawks. Russell Wilson. So Wilson, Bradford, and the Niners. So I just named 12 of the 16 NFC quarterbacks.
All right, who else?
So do we even have to go to the AFC?
Well, technically you do to win this argument.
All right, not Tannehill now. Obviously not the Jets. Not Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No.
Tom Brady. So that's 13 who are better than him. AFC South, Matt Schaub is better than he is. Not the Jaguars. Andrew Luck might be a little better than he is. So that we're at 15. And who's the other team in the AFC South?
No, AFC.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. No.
Take Locker?
Okay, fine.
No.
All right. So he's
Thus, I just won the argument, and many of these are questionable.
won the argument. There's 2 whole divisions to go. I haven't named Peyton Manning.
You already said Peyton Manning.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Eli Manning.
Oh,
They're
Eli
2 Mannings.
Manning.
They're brothers.
No way.
Ben Roethlisberger is better.
You take Roethlisberger right now over Flacco with all those problems he's having?
Yeah.
You would?
Everybody would.
Okay.
Everybody would take Andy Dalton over Flacco right now.
I wouldn't.
I'll take Andy Dalton and Ben Roethlisberger.
Would not
and
take
then I'll
Dalton.
take Peyton Manning. I'm unbelievably no longer going to take Phillip Rivers. And obviously nobody for the Chiefs. So I got him like it right. I hit it like 17 or 18. That's where he is. 16, 17, or 18. And that was easy.
Here are the questionable ones. Tony Romo, I agree with. Camp, you don't?
Tony Romo is Mark Sanchez.
Say that again.
Tony Romo is Mark Sanchez.
No.
That's what it is.
Tony Romo gets a bad rap. A couple of bad, glaring.
Cam Newton right now is a dumb quarterback, so I don't know if I'd take him right now. I would take him maybe in like another 2 years. Would not take Jay Cutler. Would maybe take Sam Bradford. Would probably take Russell Wilson.
Let me tell you what trap you're falling into.
Would
Rick.
not take Andy Dalton.
You're falling into the trap of the winner. Like Flacco wins, so therefore he's okay. But just look at it, man. It's awkward. He's regressed. Like this is a guy after his 2nd year who seemed like
and yet he's won a playoff game every year he's been in the league.
The whole team plays the game. The quarterbacks don't win the playoff games. I don't know how many times that needs to be said.
How do they? You need a good quarterback to win in this league.
You don't. Yeah.
How? Come on. Come on.
I don't. He's a competent quarterback. He's a competent quarterback. You have a team that you think can win the Super Bowl, and by the way, that Raven defense needs to. I think their window. Be interesting to see how they do next year because that window seems to be closing because that defense is old. Anyway, I got him at 17. It's a little different if whether you take like Ryan Tannehill now or in one game or whether you take Tannehill going forward. I think I might take Tannehill going forward.
I'd take Tannehill going forward.
Yeah, well then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably take Tannehill going forward too.
Record. The owner's on record as saying he will be the face of our franchise, our quarterback for the next 10 years. Then you have to pay him market money right now, which would be Drew Brees money. And you have to do that in spite of the fact, as I keep reminding you and everybody else, that this past regular season, Joe Flacco had the 25th ranked QBR, the 25th worst QBR, one notch below Jake Locker. And this past season, this regular season, he recorded the 2 worst QBRs for games since the stat was introduced in 2008. That was a .3 at Houston and a .4 at home against Peyton Manning. That on a scale of 0 to 100, .3, .4. So there's some risk still involved here.
Do this a few weeks ago or months ago, maybe a month ago, prior to the playoffs, you said that you would rather have about 16 to 18 better quarterbacks than Joe Flacco.
I think I had him 17th or 18th.
You had him 17th or 18th. Many of those were incredibly questionable. He was better than Joe Montana from his postseason win, Super Bowl win, to Flacco's. He had a better quarterback rating. He had more touchdowns. He had fewer turnovers. So does that change your ruling on Joe Flacco?
So I had Flacco ranked, I think, 17th or 18th. It was debatable. I could have, there were guys who were close. I could have had him as high as 15 or as low as 18, as I recall in that
roughly.
list. You take those sort of serious analytical breakdown of statistics. One of the ways to do it is assign a certain number of points, which guys have done, like at Number Fire and similar things at other groups that sort of at sabermetric look at stats. Joe Flacco, net expected points per play. Every play you have corresponds to a certain number of points, positive or negative. Joe Flacco, on a ranking of quarterbacks this year, was 18th in the regular season at that. He was the 18th most effective quarterback. That is essentially all I was saying. I had seen a guy seemingly
how many
about
points
to
he
get
could score on a certain play?
What he actually contributed over an average quarterback to the Ravens offense. He was an incredibly average quarterback this year. He created, in the first 3 playoff games, he was worth more. He was worth 46 points, essentially, to the Ravens in the first 3 playoff games. He generated 50 points in all 16 regular season games. His playoffs, and then that doesn't even count the Super Bowl, where he obviously played incredibly well again. This was a player who did not perform at nearly an elite level. That was the point I was making, that we were seeing a quarterback who had appeared to be pretty good as a rookie, started to get better, and then what I saw this year was a leveling off into an incredibly average quarterback. And if you're the Ravens, that conversation started, is this the guy you want going forward, based on what we'd seen at this point? And I thought fairly easily, 17 quarterbacks I would rather have. Jay Cutler was debatable. Sam Bradford was debatable, but I would still take Bradford over Flacco. I would not now take Cutler. Tony Romo, to you, was debatable, not to me. Tony Romo, much more effective quarterback.
You'd still take Tony Romo?
I'd still take Tony Romo. Look, I don't know whether I'd still take Tony Romo. I haven't really thought, because
Alex Smith.
Now the playoffs have happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And obviously Joe Flacco, my argument was, Joe Flacco didn't make many plays this year. He didn't. Raven fans know that. You know that. Now you just had 4 playoff games where this guy made play after play after play after play. If I were going to do it now, yeah, he'd probably be 11th or 12th. But I mean, I'd still take a whole handful of guys.
Would you take Matt Schaub over him?
Matt Schaub is a guy who was debating with Steve-O. Steve-O would take Flacco, and says he would have taken Flacco over both Schaub and Roethlisberger 6 weeks ago. I think taking him over Roethlisberger was crazy 6 weeks ago. Obviously, now you can make a slightly different argument.
Yeah.
But there was a statistical basis to not look at Matt Schaub, to not look at Joe Flacco as anything close to an elite player.
What's the name of this
Any number of them. Look it up. This is number fire, but any number of sabermetric breakdowns of quarterbacks. Joe Flacco did not make plays this year. Joe Flacco was, by definition, an average quarterback who made some, didn't make enough. A team that went 10-6 struggled. Joe Flacco's road home splits are dramatic. Really struggles on the road.
Let me ask you this.
But now the whole point that you're making is now we've seen 4 games, 4 high-profile games
against very good teams.
Three
and
of them,
good quarterbacks.
3 of them on the road.
Yeah.
And he played great, no question. Some of those plays were, we have to admit, totally freaking weird. Jacoby Jones' touchdown in the Super Bowl and Jacoby Jones' touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, in the Super Bowl.
And Jacoby Jones' touchdown, as you said, against the Broncos.
Against the Broncos, I think it was pretty. Yeah, like I mean, it was luck.
We got nothing here. We don't have our leader.
I think offensively they did that more than anything else, because Joe Flacco didn't really show up.
He didn't show up yesterday. He was pathetic.
Well, you don't know how pathetic? Since the introduction of the QBR stat in 08, lowest single game QBR ever recorded, 0.3 for Flacco.
Right.
And I had to sit here week after week when he would have a big, good game. And here he's now elite. Flacco's elite. I would say, no, he's more fluco. These are flukes. And yesterday told me they're all flukes. I'm not buying it. Flacco has to do better than